In this class, we're going to take a look at rationalising fractions. And all that means is, if you've got a fraction with an irrational number on the denominator, there's a process, which we're going to learn in this class, for rewriting a fraction with a rational number on the denominator. So the way this is going to manifest is, you've got some fraction, let's say a over b, but the bottom is an irrational number. This is going to be an irrational, and that will be represented by some kind of root, but a root that you cannot actually take the square root of. So, for example, if we had something like 2 over root 7, the root 7 is an irrational number. Remember, an irrational number is one that you cannot write in the form of a fraction. So if you can write it as p over q, that's a rational number, a ratio, a fraction. If you cannot write it like that, then it's by definition an irrational number. So there's no way to write root 7 as a p over q, so that's an irrational number. So what we're doing here, we're taking fractions with these irrational numbers on the denominator, and we're learning how to rewrite them so that the denominator's got a rational number. So it's a very straightforward process. All you really need to do is learn the technique and then practice applying it to different scenarios. So we're going to use these 3 examples to kind of feel our way into this topic, and then we'll try and work a few examples where we've got different scenarios to deal with. So the way this works, you take your original number, so your original fraction, so 1 over root 5 in this case, and all you do is, let me just pull this down, so 1 over root 5, and all you do is you multiply it by whatever's on the denominator over itself. So what I mean by that is root 5 in this case over root 5. So that step seems very weird, but let's just think about what that is. Well, root 5 divided by root 5, in fact, any number divided by itself is just 1. So this is really just a fancy version of 1. So all we're doing is taking 1 over root 5, multiplying it by 1, but multiplying anything by 1 doesn't change it. So this here and this here are the same, so we can say that they're equal. So 1 over root 5 times 1 is still 1 over root 5. But this is a fancy version of 1, and if we're timesing 2 fractions together, then we just times the 2 numerators, so these 2 guys, we times the 2 denominators, and it's this timesing of the denominators which is going to rationalise the original fraction. So if we think about what that is, so 1 times root 5 is just root 5, but root 5 times root 5, that's root 5 squared or root 25, either way it's just 5. So we've been able to take the original fraction, 1 over root 5, go through this weird little process and turn it into this fraction. This guy here and this guy here are the same thing. If you took those numbers and put them in a calculator, you would get the same value, but this guy here has got a rational denominator, this guy's got an irrational denominator. That's pretty much all that happens in this technique. So we'll look at variations in a moment, but the essential part is multiplying by whatever root you've got on the denominator over itself as this kind of fancy version of 1. Just to maybe pull out another example there, if it had been 1 over, say, 2 root 5, we still just multiply by the root over itself. You don't have to multiply by by 2 root 5 over 2 root 5, even though there's a 2 there. We're only interested really in the root part. So taking this example, multiplying the tops together, we give 1 times root 5. Multiplying the bottom together, a little bit more complicated. Root 5 times root 5 is 5, times 2 is 10, so that one would end up being like that. So not much of a variation from the more basic case. Okay, right, so let's move on and try a couple of other examples. So we've got 4 over root 2. Nothing really fancy going on there, so we're just going to take the same approach. So 4 over root 2, multiplying by root 2 over root 2, multiplying the tops and the denominators together. So 4 root 2 on the numerator. Root 2 times root 2 is root 2 squared or root 4. Both of those give you 2. So any number under a root times itself, the roots just cancel, so you just get 2. This one can go a wee bit further because we can divide the 4 by 2 to get a final answer of 2 root 2. If you get to this point where you've now achieved a rational denominator and you can simplify further, then do that. Sometimes it will stay as a fraction, sometimes that final simplification will mean that you've no longer even got a fraction, so you've rationalised it, but you've gotten rid of the fraction at the same point. So irrational denominator, no denominator, so, or you could consider it to be over 1, which is then rationalised. Taking this final example, fairly similar scenario again. I'll just start this one up here. So multiplying by root 8 over root 8. So again, that first step never changes. There should never be a need to use some other technique there. Multiplying the numerators together to give 6 root 8. Multiplying the denominators to get root 8 squared, which is 8, or root 64, which is also 8. Then just starting to tidy up. This one will go a bit further for two reasons. One, the overall fraction will simplify, but root 8 can also be simplified. So root 8 is root 4 root 2. Root 4 is 2, square root 4 is 2, so we get 2 root 2. So this root 8 can be rewritten as 2 root 2. So we're going to change that to 6 times 2 root 2 over 8. Notice that at this point here, we've already achieved our goal. This fraction has got a rational denominator. So taking the original fraction, which had an irrational denominator, we've already achieved the goal of making it rational at this point here. But all that we're doing now is trying to fully simplify this as far basically as we can. Same with this one. At this point here, we'd already rationalized the denominator. We just went further with the simplification. So 6 times 2 root 2 is going to be 12 root 2. Just totaling up how many root 2's we've got over 8. And then the only thing we can do is simplify the fraction. So we can divide top and bottom here by 4. So we're going to get a final answer of 3 root 2, dividing the bottom by 4 as well to get 2. So 3 root 2 over 2 is our final simplified form. So this one looks quite a bit different in its end form to how it started. There's more simplifying going on there. This one is as well a little different. With these more basic examples, if you've got 1 over some root, it's generally just going to end up being like this, which is fairly similar to where you started. So that's why I said earlier it's good to try a variety of questions on these to see different scenarios, because they're never quite alike. And it's a very common technique, this, and you'll see all these different presentations and you just want to get some experience with those so you're not thrown off when you see them in a test or an exam. A lot of questions will ask you to perform some calculation and then to write your final answer with a rational denominator. It's very easy to forget what that means, but it just means, you know, the process we've gone through here. So it's generally not a question type in and of itself. Can be, but it's usually tagged on to the end of a question. So do some calculation, get an answer, and then write that answer, which might be like this, in this form. You might get an answer like this, rewrite it in this form. So that extra technique tends to only be worth like a mark or 2 on an exam, but all the marks are important. So spend a little time practicing this technique, because you are likely to see it in quite a few question types.